Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Nick, and it's just a Honda Accord, and I'm coming to you from Boise, Idaho. And it's another beautiful day here, 73 degrees in the garage. And on this week's episode, I'm going to be installing a couple of parts on my Integra Type S. I'm going to be putting on carbon fiber mirror caps. They're not the OEM ones, they're aftermarket. And I specifically selected mirror caps versus the OEM ones. One, because the OEM ones are a small fortune, but two, the OEMs are just stick-on. So I've read, about people having fitment issues, or just longevity standpoint of having the carbon fiber chip on the edges, or the film that uses to adhere starts to peel up, and you start getting a loose carbon fiber cover. So I wanted something a little bit more solid than that. So I want these carbon fiber mirror caps. I'm not sponsored by the company that I installed the part. I paid full price, just like you would, and I'll give my feedback on the product. And then additionally on this episode, I'll be installing Mugen glass. For the mirrors, and this glass is like a wider angle. It's tinted. I'll show you in the video, but it's a neat little mod. And let's get started. Okay, so the technique that I found seems to work best for me is pushing this all the way in, pushing it all the way up, which I've already done, so you have a gap underneath. And there are two mounting spots right here where this glass is mounted, and then it's also mounted directly in the middle. So I'm going to get my hands under there. It's greasy. And I'm just going to try and pry this. Oh, there we go. See the grease. And let me go get a paper towel, and then I will start disconnecting the harnesses. All right, so there's two plugs right now. The first one is just held on with two metal tabs. So I'm just going back and forth, and it pulls straight out. The second one is pretty brittle. It has this tiny little tab holding it right here, and I have to very gently lift it up and then pull this off. So I'm gonna leave this mirror. All right, so I'm gonna try and use a little flathead screwdriver. Gently. There we go. Thanks, bud. Okay, so having the experience under my belt of doing this on the other side, I can tell you the technique that worked best for me was to, here, shine that light right there. So there is a white tab right here, and I use this type of trim tool, and I push this as hard as I could in. And then there is a little clip, a little tab that goes right here on the side. So the next move is to get a very thin trim removal tool. You could wrap this in tape if you're concerned about damaging the paint or anything. Take whatever precautions you need. And basically you pop this one loose, you jam this in, and then start working your way around. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh man, that was
a scary noise.
That was way more violent than I ever wanted. Okay, so we need to push this harness in. So you push this in right here. There, now it's in. And then the other side, bless you, goes into this one here.
Daddy, you said I could do it. I want the camera. Is this one?
Hold on, look, no, that's wrong. Other way, it's this plug down here. Okay. Okay, that's it. Next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run this spaghetti and just try and tidy up these wires. And there's some foam adhesive pads that came on, so I'm not gonna record while I'm doing it, but I'll show you the aftermath of where I added some foam padding and how I zip tied my wires. So if it helps, this is how I tidied up my wires, and what I ended up doing is taking that foam tape, wrapping it around the two connectors that came with it, and then just kind of zip tying the wires you know, so that everything would be away from where the mirror cap is going to mount. So there's a couple of things that we need to transfer from the old mirror over to the new mirror. The first one is this metal tab right here, and it has a little hook in the middle of the center, so I'm just going to use a pick, trying to be gentle here. And then I can start shimmying that out. Slides right out. The tabs, these are a little tricky. I'm going to use trim removal tools for this. And basically the technique is going to have one trim tool underneath and then push. So I have some tension pushing up and then slide each one off. Okay, so I'm not sure if there's any orientation to pay attention to, but I'm going to put it back on the other mirror in the exact same manner that it came off of the OEM one. So just going to click it in. Work my way around. And then there's that.
Daddy,
and that. Hold on one second, bud.
Do you think you're ever going to replace the mirrors again?
I hope not.
Yeah. You don't
So
want
let's do this. There we go. All the stock hardware has been transferred over, and now we're ready to. So this one takes a little bit of finesse, and the technique that I found worked best for me on getting the glass back in is I actually got the centers mount to connect first. Then I pushed it all the way down, making sure I had that pointed straight down, and clicked this one in. Then I pushed it over to the left. But you should be hearing clicking, you know, in every direction, and that's how you know that you got it right. If you don't hear clicking, it is not seated. Definitely a little tricky getting it started. Maybe I'll change my technique a little bit here. There we go. Just need this light over on the side. Make sure I get this guy. Get working across. And yeah, it's definitely a little tricky. There we go. That's the blind spot monitor icon. And here is the blinker in the mirror. Compared to OEM. And the blind spot monitors in the upper left. Here we go. There we go. My review on this mirror glass is that I think this might be an essential mod that all Integra owners should be putting on their car, because it's really, it's not cheap, but it's not egregiously expensive. I think from a safety standpoint, and just that, you know, that wider angle, the tinted glass, having the blind spot monitor be more visible with the contrast of you know, the red light against the tinted glass. I think you get a really good bang for your buck ROI on this. And yeah, the other thing is, if you just think about when you're driving anywhere, you're constantly looking at your mirrors while you drive. So you're using these things all the time. And every time you use them, pretty much after you install them, you're aware of how much better they are than OEM. So that's my 2 cents. These, I would definitely go buy them. and put them on. As for the mirror caps, I'm pleased with them. I think these are they're pretty nice. They definitely look really good. I think they're a lot better option than going with the OEM stick-ons. And then regardless of what carbon fiber mirror cap you get, you really should be ceramic coating them or doing something to protect them, because a lot of times there will be like a thin clear coat on carbon fiber parts, and they're kind of notorious for clear coat failures. So giving some protection, highly advised. My company that wrapped my roof, In-Depth Detailing here in Boise, they also ceramic coated these and wrapped these for me. Did a nice job, and I'm optimistic that with those two things, these mirror caps are going to look really good for a very long time. So that is going to wrap it up for this week's episode. This wasn't a particularly challenging install. It just requires you to be a little soft and a little patient until you get the technique figured out. As far as what's going to be on next week's episode, I'm going to be installing the Mugen window visors on my Integra Type S. And that'll do it. I'll see you next time. Take care.